Hi everyone, I'm the Art Toy Advocate, Nick Curtis, and today we're going to be talking about the Headless Horseman. I know discussing Ichabod Crane's nemesis and the bane of Sleepy Hollow would have been more appropriate before Halloween, but hopefully the sheer specialness of this piece will compensate for the untimely nature of this discussion. While the character has been interpreted in movies, TV, books, and God knows how many other mediums a quadrillion times over the last century, we are here to discuss a designer toy rendition, an innovative production prototype dunny, Jared Kane's Headless Horseman dunny. This copy we're examining is one of 6 artist prototypes that Kane made, including the test packaging. Now, this design might look familiar to some, and that's because Kane, who is also known by the moniker Nike Jerk, first created the concept in 2011 for the Most Wanted 2 custom dunny blind box series. Most Wanted gathered the top customizers from the Kidrobot forum and had them each make multiple hand-modified dunny figures, and then sold them randomly boxed up, just like a production 3-inch dunny series would be. Kane's contribution to Series 2 was the Headless Horseman, an experimental idea for a dunny figure, one with a detachable head. Originally, these customs were just supposed to have a bloody neck stump that the pumpkin head slipped onto. But once Kane had cut the mouth and eye holes out, he didn't like that you could see the neck peg through the mouth slit. To circumvent this problem, Kane devised using magnets hidden within the head and the stump. A clean and sleek solution, which also opened up the option of having interchangeable alternate heads. But let's get back to this version of the Headless Horseman dunny, which had recessed sculpted elements instead of incised parts. Around the beginning of 2013, Kane was working on a digital turnaround for the design to submit to Kidrobot. Instead of just blindly submitting this art though, Kane came up with a brilliant marketing strategy. He screen printed around 150 postcards, like this one, and mailed them to collectors, family, and anyone who expressed an interest in seeing the Horseman in production. Each postcard came stamped and already addressed to Kidrobot, with space on the back for each person to write why they wanted to see the Headless Horseman dunny get made. Then Kane made a 20-page booklet about the piece that included the digital turnaround and concept ideas, which he included alongside one of the resin horseman heads he'd made and some mini screen prints like these. This box of goodies was timed to be delivered shortly after the postcards arrived at KR's headquarters, which would all happen shortly before San Diego Comic-Con that year, during which Kane would introduce himself to the creative director of Kidrobot. Everything worked exactly as Kane planned, and he was invited to participate in an exhibition at Kidrobot's Boulder headquarters a little later that year. By the time Kane left KR's office 2 months later, he had a verbal commitment to make the Horseman, which was quickly followed by an actual contract. In March of 2014, Kane had completed the prototype, just like this one here, and the release was scheduled for October of 2015. Sadly, because of production issues and costs, the Horseman's head on the mass-made version was not going to be removable right out of the box. But Kane, always forward-thinking, was going to make an open-ended deal that if someone bought 2 of the Horseman Dunnies and sent them to him, then he would mail them back 1 copy that had been customized to include the magnetic connection, the incised face details, and some other embellishments even. Talk about one of the coolest givebacks to the fans that I've ever heard of. But then the turbulence at Kid Robot hit, with everyone Kane had been working with there being laid off, and his design just seemed to have disappeared from the production queue. Maybe the new employees only saw the modified concept without the removable head, and that's why it got canceled, because the best part of the design was no longer included. We'll never know for sure, I guess. These contoured head versions really accentuate Kane's black line, swatches of color style. So it's a true shame that they will seemingly never be made and produced. Though with luck, perhaps Kane will revisit the Headless Horseman Dunny design in custom form. He can be followed on Instagram under the username NikeJerk, which is certainly where he would announce any new versions first and foremost. Thank you for watching me, Nick Curtis, the Art Toy Advocate. Agree with me, disagree with me? Let me know your thoughts on Kane's Headless Horseman Dunny design by commenting below, as well as liking or disliking this video on YouTube. And please remember to subscribe to the CoArt YouTube channel to be kept up to date on my reviews.